Hello everyone, this is Victoria and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna talk about remote viewing and how remote viewing started for me, and I'm gonna answer some more questions about remote viewing as well. If you don't know me yet, I suggest you check my other videos on which I'm talking a little bit about myself, who I am, and etc. Like I said, we're gonna talk today about remote viewing and answering some questions. I'm gonna make a little bit of clarity for those which are not in this, let's say, SOCET domain. Remote viewing for me, and I'm gonna just dive right in, because I don't want to make this video a really long one. But as a short introduction, I'm gonna be very clear that English is not my first language, and so I might have some little mistakes in the way I am expressing myself, but that's okay because, just like I said, it's not my first language, English. Um, yeah, and I haven't prepared a paper with questions and answers because I've tried to make video about remote viewing some time ago. I guess like a month or two ago, and I've tried to do a video about that with my boyfriend, my future husband, and we tried to film a video talking about remote viewing, and he was asking me questions and stuff like that, and but we had some issues with the camera again, because this is what is happening to me, kind of not always, but I believe this happens because it's not the right or the perfect, not right and not perfect, but it's not the good time for doing that in that moment. Hope you like my background of this place. I found this image on the web. It's copyright free, of course. I really like the morning sun, and today while I'm filming this video, it's the first it's the second day for children to go to school because they started school in my country, and so that's why I've choose this let's say timeline, because my niece is going to the kindergarten and I have some let's say quiet time to film this. Anyway, so like I said, my name is Victoria. I hope you checked my other videos if you are new here. I tend to talk a lot. I tend to when I do a video to push the subjects farther and away, because English is not my first language many times, and I make small breaks when I talk and say like because I tend to think of the words before speaking them. Not being my first language, so I have to think about the things that I want to say and how to formulate the words to give a better expression. Yeah. Uh, so like I said, if you haven't checked my other videos, I'm gonna tell you short that many of the things and many of the, let's say, so gifts, but I don't believe about remote viewing. I believe about remote viewing that is not like a spiritual gift, and I'm gonna talk about that right away. But first I want to say that I all of the things that I'm talking to you guys, and all of the advices and stuff that we are going through, and the things I'm gonna story to you, and experiences and astral projections and almost everything that I know how to do, including also remote viewing. I haven't been taught by someone. I haven't learned from the books. I don't even I don't even read many books, to be honest with you. Mostly of the things that are happening to me, and I know how to do them, and I know how to use those tools, because for me they are kind of like tools, to help me and to guide me and to help me help others. And those things I learned them from the astral realm, and I did lots of practice with my guides, and I'm very sensible. I don't know what's the good word for this. I'm very perceptive to guides talking to me, to entities. Let's say like it's like a door that I'm opening when I want to talk with them, and I'm closing it when I want some private space for me. And I have access to many realms and to many stuff. For me as an entity, I am my job, because it's not like a job, but, and like I said, I'm gonna dive right away after I finish what I have to say. I'm gonna dive right in the remote viewing thing. But first, I want to say this. For me as an entity, it's not like it's a job because it's not like you make contracts and you sign them. That's a big cliche, you know. For me, as a soul, as an entity, I come from a very high dimension realm where people, where not people, because we are not like people. We have the possibility to use advanced technology, to use and to take forms in the as a physical, but also non-material. And from where I come, for example, me as an entity, there like I said, we have access to really developed and really high technology, but not like aliens, more like spirits. But I don't know how to explain this. It's beyond even technology. So everything that we use as entities on that dimensions, in that dimension, um, it might imply or it might not imply technology, but it is we are evolved even higher than technology, you know. So everything that we use there with uh, archives and healings and healing and everything that we have at our disposal, we only use our beings for that, and we use it as a form of energy. How I've reached to that conclusion, and how I find out about myself that I've come from that dimension, and the fact that I don't belong to as a soul to a more physical plane. I'm gonna tell you guys that story maybe in another video. But like I said, today together with remote viewing, it's gonna be a little bit of introduction about stuff, so you can make a better idea about what you're dealing here with, what you're dealing here on my channel. My so sad job, because like I said, this is a big cliche to think that it's a contract and it's a job that you're doing. It's not a contract, and yeah, anyways. So sis said the job is like I am working, am assisting to what is called, I don't want to call it Akashic records, but it's like I am involved with keeping a background and keeping a history of the souls in generally. Let's say this happens at a very it's a little bit hard to explain it even in English, and even more in my natal language, but I'm gonna try my best. So there, on that realm, I am working as a bookkeeper or something like that. I am keeping a record of the souls and their tags, their energetical uh, tag, let's say like this. So nobody can influence their original soul and original being created, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So let's say you have your own self. I mean, you don't have your own self. Everybody has their own selves, but let's say you are the soul. Let's take example. Let's take example of me. Uh, Myself, this energy, which I call and tag it as being myself, which is in this body called and known as Victoria on this YouTube channel, for example. It has an unique and authentic energy, an authentic soul creation, you know. And nobody can interfere or even the self change that, because this is how we recognize, we know this is the names of the entities, you know. The names of the souls are not exactly the names that you have incarnated as a person, but we know each other and recognize each other as souls by our energetic tags, our energetical authentic tags. I don't know what words to call it. And this is what I do. I keep a record, and I'm guarding that to not be influenced in any ways. In my past life hypnotic regression, I hope I said that correctly. I've found that out. So I've met in a very wonderful way and really guided by the universe, this wonderful lady, which helped us, me and my present boyfriend, future husband, helped us free of charge, free of money. She was she worked in the medical field in the past, but also did some some courses for some teaching classes to learn how to do regressive therapy, hypnotic, whatever it's called. Yeah. And she helped us with that. And in that session, I found out about myself that I'm like a keeper of keeper of scrolls, or should, yeah. Anyways, and so this is how I find out about who I am as a soul. It was a little bit of confusion at first, but after that I've realized all of this started to make sense regarding the experiences I had, and how I knew how intuitively how to repair things, how to create things. I mean, in this life, I know and I am good at so many things to do, and I am doing them intuitively, you know, and I know lots of things to do, and I'm good at many things, and many things. I don't have a list to count them right now to tell you, but I will in the future maybe I will tell you what I'm good at, but let's say that is a long list. I've learned to accept them and how to live with those so set gifts. Many people many people don't actually believe me when I tell them, I know how to do this, and they're really impressed. And like when I show them, look, I know how to do this, but I didn't took any classes to learn how to do this, but I know how to do this. I know how to assemble furniture without watching any instructions. I know, uh, let's say, a little bit from everything, almost everything. Uh, I had some issues with this thing in the past, uh, also when I was a kid, because many kids were something like, I want to be this when I'm growing up, and other kids were like, I want to be that when I'm growing up, and I was like, I want to be everything. I want to do that, and I want to be a surgeon, and I want to be a doctor, and I want to work with books, and I want to work with constructions of the houses. I want to be an architect. I want to find things. I want to go into adventures. I want to draw. I want to build things. But mostly, and from all of them, if you drag a line, this will result in things that involve organization, leading, like a bookkeeper, like holding a record of stuff. I really like new notebooks. I really like paper in generally, and things to write with. I have some favorites in that in that field. Yeah, and this also including light language. I have some favorite pens and tools to use when I'm doing light language codes on my notebooks. And I really like the smell of books and old books, and yeah. Anyways, so coming back to remote viewing, because this is what it was about this video. I don't want, like I said, to make a long video, but yeah, this is me. Coming back to remote viewing and how this started to me. So remote viewing started to me, like I said, intuitively. I didn't know how to do remote viewing. I didn't know even about the term of remote viewing, but I was doing things that was involving remote viewing. And my guides and the entities that helped me incarnated this body and helped me and still helping me through this journey with humanity, because I had some hard time accepting and actually let's say enjoying this all of this humanity stuff. For me, it was a thing like, oh, it's happening again. I'm human again. Okay. I am remembering some of my past incarnations. That's okay. Yeah, let's do this again, but I don't want to go again through drama. I don't want to go again, but here I am with some past history of dramas in my family and stuff like that. But that was meant to be happening. So yeah, anyways, coming back to remote viewing, I was doing remote viewing even without knowing I was doing remote viewing. I was watching, let's say, I was watching the news. I was like 15 years old and I was watching the news. And I knew exactly what that person is doing in their private life. Beyond analytical skills and psychological skills of analyzing that person, beyond philosophy, that I'm good at those things. And I don't want to say all of this like, look at me, how blah 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 blah, or to degenerate someone, something like that stupid. Like I said in my past videos, I'm here only to share my experience, and because I really love this YouTube thing and I really love to to put myself out there, because I have so many things to share with society. I have so many things to share with humanity in general. I have so many things to help people with, and so many tools, and it will be a shame to waste them and to not do anything about it, you know. To I was thinking about myself, you know, I was sitting in bed and doing almost nothing, because uh I do many stuff, and I try because I'm good at many things, but not perfect at let's say a certain field. I tend to make money from different ways, you know. Uh, and this is how some of my income come to me. Yeah. And yeah, coming back to again to remote viewing, because I tend to take myself away from the subject. Uh, I had a tendency to see in the people life, and it was a little bit weird for me, you know. Was watching that person what is doing in their private life, and I was, isn't this spying? Is this normal for me to see that person what is doing and what is eating and when he's sleeping and what they are doing in their private life? And many of the things popped out from you know, like I was watching that person, but the most of the things that in the first time when I started remote viewing, without actually knowing the term of remote viewing, I was seeing in people live, but I wasn't seeing all of the images. I was mostly seeing things that they were trying to hide. Let's say that there was this coming into the news, like I'm giving an example. Um, this X name person shoot his wife, but nobody knows how this happened. But I could see the things when watching the pictures with his wife and him. I could see uh, exactly what happened in the last moments and why this happened and what he was trying to hide. And this really influenced my life in generally as well, because that's why I don't have many friends. I only have my future husband and my family. And sometimes it's hard with my family as well, because they are not that open in spirituality field. They are not that open, not only in spirituality, but open as persons and more honest, and you know. And it's really hard for me to stay around toxic people and people which are lying, because I tend to find out, and I feel that, and I don't like that, you know. As everyone, if you are feeling something, you are taking yourself out from that, you know, in generally speaking. Yeah, and this influenced my life in general, because I used to sense, let's say for example, I've tried in the past to make to not to make, but to be together with someone, but that person was saying something like, I'm telling you the truth, I haven't done that. And I was like, yes, sure, if you say that, I don't know. And then suddenly they were telling the truth, you know. And I was so like, I already know, because you don't have to tell me, because I see. And they were something like, what? How could you see? What, you weren't there? And yeah, this is me, and this is how it influenced some of the things in my life. um but yeah, after that, after seeing the images of of the events from the people life, this thing started I want to call it this thing, but this relation with remote viewing thing started to develop more and more, and suddenly I was keeping more in contact with my guides, and they were guiding me on how to develop this more and teaching me how to do it. And the first time they said something like, take a piece of paper, and many times I'm communicating with them telepathically, you know. And they said something like, take this notebook, take this paper, take the pen, and start to write down everything that you feel, everything that you see. If you have any premonition, write it. And I've listened to them and started doing that. And after some time, I've come in contact with this remote viewing thing. Very funny thing. It happened to me. I don't exactly remember how many years, but I believe 2019 or something. It happened to me to come back from school to go home, and on the road on the road to going home, I've stopped by a bookshop, you know. But in this bookshop, there was people which sell their old books, like, I don't know what's the word for it. But anyways, and there I found out this book, written by a person from Romania, from my country, you know. And he wrote that book, and he was in the spiritual field, but mostly the person which wrote this book was mostly was like conspiration theories and stuff like that. But anyways, in that book he wrote about there were some subjects that he approached, and he wrote about the experiments that were done in experiments, stuff like that. I don't know how to express this. But he wrote about, the thing is that he wrote about some things that happened in America, in USA. About those remote viewing things, you know, and the experiments they were doing in the year 45, or something like that. Anyways, and after finishing that book, I was something like, dude, this person talks about something that sounds a little bit like me, but only that they were doing this, and in the story he was telling, those people were doing this for helping the war and to spy and to stuff like that, but they were doing in the military. And I was like, this becoming interesting. I am doing that, you know, and I have knowledge of that, and this was used as a war weapon. I mean, really, seriously. And this really intrigued me further and further to search on the internet and to find the terms. And here we go, I found out about the term of remote viewing, or what is called remote viewing. But I was doing remote viewing before and not actually knowing the term of remote viewing, you know. And this was really an interesting part of my journey, interesting development part, as well as light language codes. The term of light language codes also came to me kind of in the same way. I find it out from an old friend about the term of light language, but I was doing light language notes from before knowing the term of light language, and this is really funny, you know. Yeah. And after finding out about that term of remote viewing, like I said, I already knew how to do remote viewing, and I liked my way. And I've tested it so many times, so many times, and this is naturally, and it is not forced, and I can combine other tools as well, like my intuitivity, like but not only, but there is a big confusion everywhere in the community, everywhere, about remote viewing, about spirituality, about all kind of stuff. And I have a message to put out there for people watching this video, because yeah, stop pushing people to use exterior methods when they can reach inside themselves and being taught by their higher self or their guides. There is not exactly a way or ways to learn doing something like this, but the best way is to combine things and to be naturally your own self. If you are trying to push some teachings from, so said, YouTube, you know, there are many people teaching about remote viewing on the YouTube, on the Google, give me money. And not only, there are old videos and so many knowledge, but all that knowledge, take it to the garbage, because you don't need it. You just don't need it. If you are going to stay with your own self, meditate, work on yourself, find out stuff, clear your connection with your guides and the communication channel, you'll find all the information you want to find and how to use that. And many people are using this for their own interests. I'm offering this service of remote viewing on Fiverr. I don't know if I said that correctly. Like I said, English is not my first language. I had like, for now I have 3 very good reviews, but also I've made many orders and completed orders, and everyone have been satisfied. And until now, let's hope it will keep it like this in the future. But people are becoming really mean with each other, you know, even in this field when we should help each other. And when I say that remote viewing is not a spiritual gift, it is something that is a little bit closer to this realm, you know. It is like we as, it might sound funny, you know, the way I speak, the way I've tried to explain things. I don't want to make but anyways, many people are abusing all of this, and they are mean and all of that. And this is really bad, because for us as evolutionary beings, as humanity, we must not follow others. But this is another subject that I'm gonna approach another day. I'm not here to say follow me, and nobody should follow actually nobody. But like I said, this is a subject that we're gonna approach in another day. I'm here to talk right now about remote viewing and to say the importance and why it is so important Do not follow anybody's advices. I have done remote viewing for years now. And you can tell to me, but you are so young. Yes, I am 23 years old, going to 24. But I already have many years experience, okay, with this, including many other things. But talking about remote viewing in this life, I have many years experience. I have tested the methods that I'm using many times. For me, naturally, the way I've learned things are the best for me. I can't speak in anyone's names. If what is telling that person on the YouTube or the internet is helping you, then that's good for you. If you can work with that. But if that thing doesn't actually help you and you don't understand anything from that, what that person is telling you and teaching you how to do the things, then you must take some time with your own self and learn how to do this thing naturally. And when I'm saying that remote viewing is not like a spiritual gift, it is because everybody from this planet as humanity can access it, even with telepathy and even many other things. But those stuff are blocked. They are not blocked by our own self, because let's say if it will be blocked by you being afraid and then not being afraid, then you could do that. No, it's blocked as a humanity community, you know, as a planetary thing, because here our brains are interconnected. I'm not going right now to talk and to approach those subjects from the philosophical from a philosophical you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to approach these things from a philosophical point of view of the soul and the brain and the human body and all of the layers, you know, layers that we have and we are constructed, because everything is interconnected and we have all of those layers that are interconnected, but here we are connected with others as well. You cannot cut those cords. We are connected. But detaching from this body and going back where you've come from, what dimension you were created, because as souls we've been created in many places and we've come here only as a journey. And only then, when you are going back to judge your own self, because there is no God to judge you, there is no higher entity than the soul itself. So let's say the soul itself is the own creator of the soul itself and the whole thing. And the thing is, there is no higher God to judge you. If you believe something else, you are free to fly off my channel. I believe that yes, we are protected physically, we are protected spiritually, energetically, and there is law, and there is protection on many realms, even here, like I said, physically, mentally, etc., energetically, etc. But we have free will and we are connected. So when I'm saying that this is not about you believing that you are blocking your own self, it is about the community as well. But the power of believing, the seed of believing, the faith that you are putting in your own self, in the belief that you can do this no matter what, then you can do this. But I don't suggest that you try to fly or to jump from a high building, you know. I don't suggest you do that. No. Surely you will be dead, but that's another story. I'm talking right now about remote viewing, okay? Not about jumping from buildings, stuff like that, trying to find out if you can fly. We can fly for now, but in the astral realm. Yeah. And what I was trying to say, everybody can do remote viewing, everybody. But there is like a soft thing, soft thing that is covering the self, you know. And that soft thin thing is the power of believing in your own self, if you can or you can't do it. In this also implies working and trying and failing, making experience, because you can do remote viewing if you don't have experience. You must train your own self. After I've come into the term of remote viewing thing, knowing the term of remote viewing thing, I started to train myself even harder than before. My guides created those training sessions. What would that have implied? Well, that would have implied that I was doing some little games, taking a piece of paper, writing what with my eyes open, not eyes closed, with my eyes open, what will happen. What do I see is happening right now in the park? Calling that friend to see if that thing actually is happening in the park. What it is behind that door? After opening the door, is that thing there or it is not? But you should do this training with a friend or someone close to you, because you can do those kind of training that if you already know what is behind that door or things like that. Try to work with that in small targets, in small portions, with small objects, people, small events, small things. Also, try at first to work with things that may be closer to you. I'm not talking as an emotional attach closer, but I'm talking about objects that might be nearer you. Let's say in the park near where you live, in the house where you live, in the apartment of your neighborhoods, you know. I wonder what my neighbor is doing right now. Let's see. Doing remote viewing, beep boop. You know. And after that, ask the neighbor, what were you doing? Even that will seem a little bit weird, but this is remote viewing. It might seem weird at first, but and for others that doesn't have this term. Also, excuse me. Also, for me, it happened a little bit. It happened something a little bit scary when I was 19 years old. I was on this dating website. And now where I've met my 2019, 18, something like that. 18, something like that. Where I've met my actual future husband. And suddenly a person before meeting my future husband, my now present future husband, it happened to someone to send me a message, and that person was telling me exactly what I was having in my room. And it was a little bit scary for me, and I was really angry on that person. And I was telling them, why did you do that? You have no right to do that. You could first ask me. Never do sessions for someone. Never do remote viewing sessions for someone that asks you to see in that girl's life. Let's say for an example. There is this boy that is liking that girl very much, and you are paid to do that remote viewing session for that boy to see what is that girl doing in her private life. That boy have no right to know, because that is seeing in the intimacy of that person, of that girl. In truth, in spiritual, so said truth, we can see everything everywhere. But as a moral thing, and as a thing for keeping the good peace between others, it will be better if, yes, you've seen that, you already know what your family is doing in their private life, you already know what that person that you love the most is doing in the private life, and you know private things about many people. You don't go to their faces and tell them, I've seen you do that. They will be like, the fuck you talking about, dude? And you'll be like, you've done that there, and you've said that, and I saw you, you know. That will be really, really ugly from you, and will be really, really bad behavior to do that. Never do that. We must respect each other's boundaries as humans. And we can't see in that person's life and then go to their faces and tell them, I saw you do that there in that time, you know. Because we will not be appreciated. Of course, for us, the persons that are doing remote viewing, this is something really normal to see almost everything, almost everywhere. And in spiritual truth, even from the dimension that I was born as a soul, and from the dimension that I am coming, in truth, we are naked. What means naked? Because not having from the dimension that I come, in that dimension, we have physical bodies. They're not exactly physical. They are more advanced than physical. We can take many forms, even as a thought form. We have technology, we have very advanced technology, but we are even more advanced than physical technology. But we are still having really beautiful worlds and planets and nature in that realm, in that dimension. And we've evolved so far beyond morality things that there isn't any animal to hurt you, or wars, or any disease, or any stuff like that. Because yes, we have access to that, but because of the experiences, we've learned how to use things and how not to damage. And yeah, what I was talking about, I forgot. This happens to me a lot. Yeah. I know we talk about remote viewing, I know that, of course. Yeah, so it is not nice from someone to see in others' private life and to go to their faces and tell them that. Also, talking about physical locations and the distance between those locations, these affect the remote viewing session? No. If you had lots of training behind you, you can access anything, anywhere, in any dimensions. Can you see the lottery numbers? The most question that I get on the Fiverr. No, and I don't offer anybody's lottery numbers. If I could have done that for me, I will be fucking rich, but I don't. Also, a little bit of disclosure, as you can see, we talk dirty. No, I was joking. This is my way of expressing myself. Anyways, do you use crystals? Do you use any what is called feng shui, or any method that for purification, or any other thing for remote viewing? Sometimes, yes, I do things that work for me the most and that makes me feel good before a remote viewing session. Let's say I use to burn some Palo Santo, or maybe use some crystals. Why not? If they makes me feel good. Pray, because yes, I don't believe in a bad God like that will judge you. I don't believe, how to put this, like I said, I believe we are protected, and yes, I believe in higher entities, but I don't believe in the God, in the God that is presented of the churches. I was baptized in the Orthodox Church, but I don't follow those things. Yes, I have some traditional things around the house and in my room, but that's because I'm close to this national thing. But I don't follow any of that because I stopped believing in it after having my experiences. And I do pray, but I don't pray in that God that the church is presenting to society, because I don't pray to false and fake gods. I pray and I pay my respects to the good gods and to the good entities. And there is an exchange of good love energy and light energy. There is no judging energy to tell me something like, why did you do that? You are so bad at that. You will be judged. You will be burned in fire. Excuse me, word. But something like that. No, I don't believe in that, and I'm not paying my respects to those kind of things. No. But yes, I tend before the remote viewing session to do some rituals, not witchcraft rituals or stupid things like that. Not stupid things, because for some people this might be some good things. Excuse me. I don't want to come in conflict with everyone and their beliefs or stuff like that. This is my channel, and I want to be true to myself and to be myself. And if you are not okay with watching me talking about things in the way that I'm talking, or you feel like you are being profanated, that's the word, the things that I'm saying, then you are free to go. There are other people's YouTube channels to watch. And yeah, like I said, I do things that help me the most before a remote viewing session. Really often, for me, works to do the remote viewing sessions in the morning or before sleep. And that is happening because I tend to have a clearer and much calmer mind in the morning after waking up, or in the night before sleeping. I go in this meditative state, meditative being, in this meditative thing. But meditation doesn't have to imply for remote viewing. It's not mandatory. But for many people helps. But that will bring us back to the question, is remote viewing a spiritual gift? No, I don't believe it is. Uh, that depends on many factors, and how you want to define the the spiritual gifts. Spiritual gifts can be from intuitivity reading and things that might involve our spirit. But I believe about remote viewing that is not actually involving our, it is a little bit involving our spirit, but not at all. It is mostly involving also our parts of the brain that have not yet been activated, something like that. I believe about the remote viewing that is being more accessed by uh, by our electrical field and by our own mind rather than the spirit itself. Like I said, I don't believe that the mind, the spirit, and the being, it is separated. It is one and the same with each other. It is complementary. You can live with a brain as human as you can't live with a heart without, you can't live without a heart, and you can't live without the brain. And so is the soul and the mind. The Let's say that the soul have its own mind, its own conscious. That is the brain of the soul. This is the brain of this body, but that is the brain of the soul. It's conscious because it is formed by the electrical field, the energy, the plasma, not the plasma. Too much Star Trek for me. Yeah. Anyways, and so this is what I believe, that the soul is formed from the electrical, from the energy, and also it's having its own mind. But that mind and that conscious, it's also made from this electrical thing. It is more complex and complicated, but I believe they are interconnected. I have many theories and many philosophical theories and psychologically analysis about many of the subjects that people are trying to approach in the also science field, but that's another thing that we are gonna talk another day. And I'm gonna approach them easily but steady. And I also want to say that I don't have any school experience in any psychological thing or any philosophical thing. Everything that I know and everything that I'm offering is from my experience and from the training that I did with my guys. I'm not trying to appear like that like a fake person that it's really in love with itself. I am me, I am the way I am. I have many flaws and many other persons, but I do love myself. And I believe that peace on earth and peace between entities, it is possible if we have understanding for each being. And I have many values on which I base my life. I have many values that I try to follow, but I also have many beliefs that I have many beliefs about things, and those beliefs are formed the same from the experiences. I've tried to clear as many things as possible, but also one of the law of logic, it is that some things cannot be head in head. They cannot, like you say this theory, but you say this other theory, and because you said it yourself, it's like you are also approving that but also denying that. It is a paradox. But the logic of logic is that it's illogical. This is what I believe. I believe in paradoxically things, and I believe that the paradox itself has its own kind of logic if you are trying to understand it. I'm not here to argue from any science view, from any mathematical view to make you know stuff to calculate. I'm not I'm talking from my experiences as a soul. I'm talking from my experiences as this human. But mostly I am here to approach people between them and to create a better understanding of the things, and to remind people that in the end it's not about each other fighting with each other. Look at me, I'm better than you, I am best, I know this much better than you, I have more experience in that field better than you. In the end it is about each one's journey, and each one's journey is different, and we should respect that. And I believe that yes, we should respect each other's journeys, and that everyone evolves at a different rate, than other. I believe as source that we all as entities, paradoxically, yes, we're different, but in the end we are one with each other. And those are my reasons that nobody should fight each other about who is better and who is the best, even in everything, not in something, but in everything. It happened to me recently, not recently, but like 2 or 3 months ago. I found it out about on subreddit, or what is called on Reddit, Reddit. And there was this remote viewing thing on that Reddit, and they were doing a weekly object training, a weekly target training. And so I've posted my results in there. Of course, as a spoiler alert, the spoiler alert means that you hide all the text that you've commented. And after that, there was this person coming after me, judging me, and on a harsh tone, telling me that I didn't did great, and that's because that. And in the result, he was something like, he was mean, and he was something like, you are not good, or something like that. All of this feeds our ego. All of this, when you are trying to make someone like smaller than you, all of that feeds your ego. So try to remember before you are making someone feels bad, that you are not better than him or her or itself, but you are worse than it, much worse. Okay. I believe in fairness, and I believe in the end, if we must make that leap as humanity, as community of the earth, to evolve higher, we must understand with each other, we must help each other, not push off, not making things worse than they are. Other questions about remote viewing, like I said, about the distance of the location, the physical distance, I don't believe it is an impediment as long as you have training for that. And I believe everyone that is starting the remote viewing should Start with small baby steps, with physical distances really close to its home or the place where they are. Other question about the remote viewing will be, with the remote viewing, can you see future exactly events? From my perspective, from my experiences, because I'm not talking for other people that does remote viewing, but from my experiences and from my point of view, for me, I don't and I refuse orders for uh, exactly future events, to do remote viewing session for exactly future events, because the future is unstable. Yes, practically we live in this reality, but we are actually not, we are passing through a reality to another. For the human mind, it will be very hard to comprehend all of these realities. But paradoxically, even if somebody died in others' reality, that person might be still alive in their own reality. And we are passing through a reality to another. And these have nothing to do with the limitations of the dimensions, because even dimensions are lower than those realities. We are traveling and we are going, but we are going farther. As people, we cannot be actually aware of that, but that is happening. And so everything is influenced by the other thing, and this is interconnected. It will be very hard to see like this circuit of systems that is happening all around the planet, all around the infinite galaxies. The infinite is a very big thing. But paradoxically, even the infinite have its own limitations. That's the paradox of it. But that's the illogical thing. But the paradox itself, it's illogical, but it's, like I said, it has its own logic. Even if the rule of logic is to not deny on something, an argument that you have already proved, but that's the paradox itself. That's its own definition, not exactly its definition, but the paradox, this is it. It's a denying of the approval and the approval of the denying. And even so, it has its own order. Even if it seems like it's illogical, it is out of order. And yes, I don't believe, for me, for example, I don't speak for others, but for me, I refuse orders that are for future exactly events, as the future can change. And this is really influenced by many factors. One of the biggest factors, I think, that it is the guides and other entities. That yes, we do believe, and from my experiences, is we have the free will. But in the same time, if you are trying to, to run or to do something that is not in concordance with your system of realities, or the way your life is, the way your soul chooses things, because our soul also chooses things, then entities will step in, because it wasn't meant to be. And let's say your higher self chose for you to go through that experience for your own evolvement. Yeah. And so the future will change, so we can't exactly provide the information for a future exactly event that will happen in a remote viewing session. And so for me, from my experience, I don't recommend to do so or accept orders on that, because it might be very tricky. Yes, it might happen. I don't say it won't happen, but that's, like I said, the paradox of the paradox itself. But in my world, it might not happen. that depends on many factors. Uh, suddenly you may wake yourself that is actually happening, and you'll be something like, why didn't I take that? Why didn't I take that decision? Let's say you are going to make mm, uh, um, to make a bet. You are going to make a bet that this will happen, and the other person is taking the bet that is not going to happen. But the other person is refusing to engage in that bet. But the other person that is refusing to engaging in that bet, it might think like, it might happen, but I don't believe it might happen, but it might happen. But from the fear that it might not happen, I refuse to engage in that bet. But that event is actually happening. And the person that refused to engage in that bet now is feeling a little bit sad, because like it's something like, I should have betted on that it should happen. And but the truth is, it is better to not be part of those things, because it might not actually happen, and you might also get a bad review for your work. It's best and it's better to be honest with your clients if you are making money from remote viewing, if you are helping people with remote viewing. I helped people with lost pets, I helped people with lost objects. There was a lady that I felt very sorry for her, but she couldn't receive her engagement ring back, but that's it. Yeah, and remote viewing for persons, remote viewing for location targets that people might not have access. For me and for my training, right now I can access many different locations and very, very far. Not limited, let's say. But yeah, this was for this talk about remote viewing and some answered questions. Do what is best for you, and before a remote viewing session, do what feels good for you if it helps you to see the target better. If you are feeling that some things are forced, don't do it. Everything that is forced, it's not actually in your best interest. Anything that creates you joy and gives you that light feeling and like, I can do this, I'm so sure of myself, then do it. If you are having even the little and slightest tingle in yourself that no, I don't want to use that method of remote viewing, and trust me, there are so many so said methods and called I don't remember any of them to because I wasn't interested in naming and tagging every little thing, but all I know is that I do remote viewing, I do it naturally, I say what I found out, everything, even if it's very little, because on target I can see lots and lots of things and can take even weeks and months to finish and so said project of that target, but some slight things can take just 1 day or 2, the maximum, and one single word file. But yeah, if you are new to remote viewing, this is my advice to you. If you want to make money from it, go for it. Try to help people because people need help. But if you don't feel confident on you, don't try it, as you might disappoint others and might give you bad reviews. Just train yourself. Start with small steps. Do and do and feel what works the best for you. Create your own methods with your guides or with your own self. And train with your own self, because that's the way you are going to gain experience and develop yourself and your abilities of doing remote viewing further. uh, for me, it is my dream to it is my dream not to focus only on remote viewing, but to help people in generally, and also develop this YouTube channel and many other things, write books and stuff like that. um but yes, don't try to follow any teachings from the YouTube that may give you the feeling that they are forced, that you don't feel like you resonate with them. Teachings and YouTube channels and all of that stuff, take it to the garbage, all of it, and try to be with your own self. To try and find your own methods first. Just try to find your own methods first. Try it a week or two, or something like that. Even a week or two, it's very little. Try 1 month or 2 months with intensive training with your own self. After that, if you feel like, no, I can't do this by my own self, I need someone to guide me, then yes, you are free to watch some YouTube videos, you are free to search the internet. But this is what I've also recommended to my future husband, because he is also in conspirational theories and really attracted to many of those kind of things. But he tends to lose himself in all of those YouTube videos with people talking about aliens and talking about stuff. And I like everyone, and I like different opinions and different conclusions and different theories and different experiences to hear, even very real experiences. But of course, having access to remote viewing and having access to all of this training that I had in the past, I know and I spot when somebody is lying and when somebody is doing those kind of mistakes, and I just don't like them. And when I don't like them and when I don't resonate with them, I just say okay, bye, and that's it. But I tried to explain this as well to my future husband, but he insisted that he really likes those people, and I said, if that makes you happy, then go for it and enjoy it. But for me, like I said to him as well, don't push things to myself, because if I don't feel to watch them or to hear them talking, them talking, I have my own ways, and that's it. I'm more natural. I just simply can't. And even if you give me this book about remote viewing, about spiritual techniques and ways to improve your life, to make juices and be healthier, and I'm gonna just pass it, because if I need any advice, I'm gonna go to my higher self, I'm gonna go to my guides, I'm gonna go to authentic holistic healing, and search for old books, not copy paste books that young people are doing money from it. I really promote and really suggest for everyone that is watching this video, if you want and have a book in your mind, try to find and search and read the old books on philosophy, psychology. I have read some old, whatever. Some old books myself about psychology, about philosophy. That's where everything starts. The rest of it is a little bit of development, but yeah. So this was for today. Like I said, I don't want to trigger anyone's any bad feelings. Do what feels the best for you. This is my best advice that I can give. If it feels forced, don't try to follow those YouTube things and the internet things. It's best to find the natural ways, because the natural ways will work whenever, yeah, and this was for today. I am Victoria, like I said, and if you want, you can watch my other videos. I'm gonna post some links in this video description on on the services that I am offering. You can contact me by email, or if you want to do a Zoom session with me, that we can upload it on YouTube to talk about some theories, or if you have any questions, I am here for everyone. Thank you again, and I wish you all the best. Goodbye.